Dave, I got a bit lost in your presentation, so I was struggling with the questions because I was going. I remember it being clearer than that, and I'm not sure why. I think it might be because my brain is foggy today.
Oh, I've had those days as well. Okay, let me undo it.
Right. Okay. So the agent is the client. So here's what I'm talking about. It's what I call the delegation boundary. So
Okay.
what is the boundary where what am I willing to delegate to the machine as a decision? So in search, the delegation boundary is I'm willing to let it choose the 10 best links for me. And then I choose which one. Delegation boundary for an assistive engine is I'm delegating the research to it and I'm asking it to give me 1 or 2 recommendations.
Right.
In the agent, I'm delegating the choice of resources, the research, the choice of the recommendation, and the action.
Yeah.
And that boundary is going to be different for each user with the products or the services they're buying. And indeed, for your business, you need to figure out where your client is on that delegation boundary in order to best optimize your business. So yours will be much closer to the delegation boundary of I've given it all to the agent to do. And somebody buying a wedding ring would be much more on the delegation boundary, absolute minimum, just search. I'm asking for the 10 best solutions. So we're looking today at the delegation boundary with Dave at the agential level, where your client is essentially the agent because people have delegated to the agent for the purchase decision. And indeed, you told me the retention is up to the agent too, which I love.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, there's a lot of very, very, very interesting things going on in this context, right? And one of the things that I think people forget about, because you talked about sort of the delegation. What level will we delegate to an agent, right? And right now, we would all go, I won't hop into an autonomous vehicle. There's no way I'm going to trust those things with my life. I have. They're pretty cool. Like I've been in a Waymo. They're kind of neat. But you know, there's people who they won't do that. They would never trust an agent to do their shopping for them. They would never trust an agent to make calendar adjustments for them, right? Like there's lots of people that say those things. I'm old enough to have grown up towards the end of the Cold War, but it was in the Cold War. And the reason I bring that up is we looked over what they were doing in the Soviet Union at the time, and it was like they're doing like horrible tracking and they're like following their people. And let me tell you, I didn't want that either. And now I carry this little tracking device around with me with my location on because the boundary is so low. I've used it so much through my way through. I started with a dumb phone. I started with a pager. Then I had a dumb, just like a dumb, it actually, that one that sits on my wall that my kid put on, I broke down, gave me as a gift. You know, that didn't have that. And it's just slowly like a frog in boiling water, right? Just slowly got me to the point where I just absolutely gave everything away, right? And we all do, right? And I don't block cookies because I want to see people's ads, right? Like I want to see what they're doing because that's my job, right? So I don't have ad blockers on. I'm not blocking very much, right? Okay, like a company level on the company laptops, yeah, a lot of stuff just gets blocked on me. But like, you know, that's just sort of like that stage. So we can go, hey, this isn't going to be a thing, right? Like this isn't going to, nobody's going to just let an agent decide what wedding ring that I should get. No, but there's a lot of low cost stuff. Like when my fridge starts running out of milk and it's checked my calendar and knows I'm going to be in town until any milk it purchases today would expire, do I trust it to just have some fired over to my house? Sure I do. The cost of being wrong is so low. And now I'm trained. It does an okay job. It does an okay job with milk. All right, I need a new set of headphones because I'm going to take up swimming. This is just a true fact. I'm going in, I'm using these agents to help me like do my research on like which headphones are best for like swimming in. Like, okay. And would I eventually trust it to just do the job? Not right now. I'd want to see it. But after it's done some really good work with milk a few times, yeah, probably. And then it's added in bread and a couple higher ticket items. I let it pick produce for me, right? Like into like that. And then just slowly, as I say, like that, like frog in water, we all will get conditioned to it. And something that I think a lot of us fall into is we go, I wouldn't. That's fine if you will never hop in a Waymo. That is absolutely fine. Most people will get into some form of driverless vehicle in their life at this stage. Like, that's just going to happen.
Well, I mean, one example I use is socks. I buy black socks, size 42 from Uniqlo. I'm absolutely happy that an agent goes and does that to me every 3 months. It buys me 10 pairs of socks. I'm off to the races. Absolutely no problem at all. And the agent can decide. And if it decides that something is better than Uniqlo, you know, why not? As long as the socks come and I'm happy, I'll continue to be that agent's client, as it were. But then my girlfriend collects socks. So that isn't an option. The pleasure is in looking for them and deciding which socks, which are funny, which aren't funny, which are going to make a nice present and which aren't. So there you've got the same product with the same use in fundamentals as putting on my feet, but two very different behaviors where the delegation boundary is at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, yeah. And I mean, you know, you're using, it's a tweak on the example I often use in this one, which I tend to use, travel, right? I got a company-wide offsite in October. Maven, which is a system we use, will send me an alert going like, pick your flights, pick your hotels, all of that sort of stuff, right? Like that's how they deal with that. Would I offload that to an agent, knowing that I have like an 8-hour time frame to like go, nope, it got that wrong, and just go, you know, I don't want to be up at 5:30 in the morning, right? You know, I need to be there and at the hotel by 6. I'm just making up numbers. You know all of this about me. You know everything that they put in about this event. So just go make my decisions for me. I don't care because I don't actually care where I end up. You know what like lounge passes I have access to. So you know how to like make sure that I'm going to like, if I have a layover, I'm going to be like comfortable. It knows all of that about me. So hey, would I trust it to do that? Absolutely. Now, next year for my 25th anniversary, I'm going to Bali with Mary. Would I trust it with booking that? 2 reasons, no. The first one is simply it doesn't know what I want because I'm going to be discovering that as I look around. Second is I really like looking up travel like that. Do I care if I'm staying in a Marriott or a Hyatt? Not really for a conference that I'm going to be at. Do I? No, and they're probably going to tell me which one. Do I care which flight I'm on, whether it's like WestJet or American? Not really, right? Like, but it knows my point system, so it can make sure that I'm like doing my best. You know, so it would know all of that stuff. But do I want it doing in the travel, like your partner with collecting socks? No, this is a pleasure event. Like, don't take the pleasure event. You're already doing a bunch of the pleasure events and writing poetry and making movies. AI, stop doing like, you know, and making music. Stop taking more of it away from us, right? And so that's where this sort of happens. So I think a lot of it's gonna relate to that. But would some people do it for their pleasure travel? Probably. I need an all-inclusive and Port of IARNet. Do I really care which one? I do, but some people might just be like, whatever the cheapest one is that's well rated.
I mean, if my dream holiday is sitting on the beach all day, and as long as the beach is white and the sea is green or blue or whatever color it might be, and it's the right price, and I don't get bothered, and I'm happy sitting on the beach, then yes, an agent could make that decision. But then the question here is also that boundary is going to change over time as we as a human race get used to agents making decisions for us. And I'm telling businesses, look at where you are now in terms of how much of your business is going to be dependent on the agent as your client, and work on that now. So we're going to come to that in a moment. Yours is very majorly in favor of the agents, but then also look at where you think it's going to go over the coming years and prepare for that, because agents are going to become, whatever business you're in, they're going to become more and more of your business. If it's 1% today, maybe it'll be 50% in 5 or 6 or 7 years time. You need to be ready for that, and now's a good time to start.
Yeah, well, we seem to think that we have a lot of more choice than we do. Like, and you would think in the marketing community dealing with Google, we would just have it beaten over the head that we don't actually have the choice that we think we do. We're like, well, I would never use agents like that. It's adorable you think you're going to have that choice, right? Like, it's adorable that you think that in the discovery flow that it's going to go, oh, do you want an agent for this or not? The agent's done it. The agent's done the research. The agent has decided what the top 10. It's not the algorithm that it was. But that's okay. Google's constantly come at us going, featured snippets, we're doing it. They just constantly change stuff and just gone, we're formatting things this way. We're ordering things this way on pages. We're putting ads here, here, here. Now it's just a different flavor of that, right? They'll have the agents working in the background, helping make decisions, reading my like emails, putting contacts in there they couldn't. And generally it's going to be better. But it's funny to say, I wouldn't let a system do that.
That's an incredibly good point, and it does bring us all back to earth. Is sometimes we simply don't have the choice. We're, as you said, getting used to our phones, and it will creep in and become more and more prevalent, whether we like it or not. And opting out is going to become actually quite difficult when Google or ChatGPT or another platform pushes it into an existing product that we're already using. And I'm talking to Kasper Kulikowski from Google about agents in Chrome, and how Chrome is going to move towards a position where the browser itself will be helping the agent to act, and the browser you're using will become the implementer that you don't necessarily opt into, right, if it's part of the infrastructure of the browser itself. So now the really interesting point that I want to get to is, did you say most of your clients are agents and most of the retention is agent based?
Yes. When I'm saying clients, I'm referring to, because we've got our two funnels, right? We've got our enterprise sort of oriented. Those ones still human beings. We need them to track. The agents aren't wiring us money. Right? That's still happening on the human level, but on the product level, like on the product-led growth side, which is most of our traffic, most of our users are on the product-led growth side. It's no longer a case where a user is sitting down, and I'll go back 5 years when I first started, is sitting down on Google and going, how do I implement Dropout and PyTorch? And hey, here's this article that they've ranked. Let's click through and let's follow through these code blocks. And hey, now I know. And hey, like integrated like weights and biases. And isn't that a cool chart? Right? Like that was the path then. That's gone. Like our traffic along with publishers is eroded in that category. Like our traffic's still fine, but our traffic in that category is eroded. Have we stopped publishing? Heck no, because now they've just moved over into my IDE of choice that's AI driven is Cursor. They could be in Claude Code. They could be in Anti-Gravity. They could be in any of these number of tools. And they're building whatever widget or system that they're building is. And they're going, wait, I need to troubleshoot. How do I see where this went wrong? And I need that system to go, oh, this is about, I'm going to pick it's never Dropout in PyTorch anymore. But, well, okay, not never, but like, it's not that, but like, I need it to now understand, okay, we've seen this. We know what the solution is. We know how to add observability into that system, right? Like we know that a user needs to see, okay, the agent's making all these tool calls. We have all of this input output of like the prompt did this, and here was the output. We know the user needs to like troubleshoot that. So I need it to know, hey, you drop in our code there. So it's not even a case of going, hey, it's weights and biases you want. It's not. It's the agents just going, okay, we're just going to put that code in now. And it's just building that code. And we don't see them coming through to our sign or like our main page. We see them coming through to an auth page because it's just going, you need to click here to authenticate yourself. They go there, they sign up. And that's my first thing. And the pain in the butt about that one and leading to other conversations I know you're having is that user has just come from Claude Code. That user has just come from Cursor. That user is coming in as direct. They weren't direct. The content did it, right? Like they did come in as direct, but I'm getting no attribution to what it was specifically. God bless. I work at a company that like, this is what we do for a living, right? Like we build I went to a marketing offsite. We were just talking about agents, right? Like that's like, this is sort of like the thing we're paying attention to. So I'm glad that my company understands this. I really feel sorry for probably a lot of people watching right now where their boss doesn't understand that that's happening. They're going, where's my traffic going? And why aren't you doing your job? And it's like, that traffic's still there. It's just hitting our site down funnel. So there's less of it, but it's preconditioned, right? We're just missing that like fuzzy part up at the top that didn't convert. We're converting it through ChatGPT, or we're converting it through the funnel in that chat interface.
Right.
Coming through. Something that I think is really, really important for users, for everybody to keep in mind is something that agents rely on right now, and I can't see this ending anytime in the near future. So when you're thinking about agents, it's about confidence, right? Is an agent making a decision going, hey, this is the very, very best thing that I know is out there, right? When it's looking at our company, for example, when it's going like, what code do I put in? Is it deciding, hey, we know Weights and Biases produces the very best, sort of code will do the very best of this? I'm sure there's an element of like, okay, we're going to shortlist just to companies that do well. But then looking across and going, which one, it needs to know that the user is going to be satisfied. That I'm sitting there in Cursor and I'm going to not be like swearing at like whatever LLM, probably Claude 4.8. I'm going to be swearing at that one going, why is this system broken right now? The actual problem was that it's not a problem. It isn't going to choose what it can implement based entirely on which one is best. It's going to shortlist to like, okay, there's like 5 good tools for observability with LLMs. Which one am I most confident? Which one do I know 100% I can dump that code in there and it's going to work? That's the difference that we're dealing with now, is that confidence versus best is a bit different now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's kind of a point. I was talking to Danny Goodwin, and confidence is one word he said that I've been saying for years, is content is king, context is king, confidence is king. And the confidence of the algorithms in what they've understood about you at a more general level at Kalicube is we're saying it needs to understand you. Of course it does. That's table stakes. But the confidence in that understanding is what's going to trigger the actual choice of the recommendation or the action. And in this particular case, for an agent, it's, am I confident that this solution isn't going to disappoint my client, who is the user? And I love the fact that you're using the word confidence, and we're totally aligned on that. So we're looking at the Agentic Click. The agent will research and click and purchase and or push the person through to the authorization page and the purchase if it believes the solution fits the need, if it believes it's sufficiently good to satisfy its client, and if it's super confident.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant.
That's exactly right.
Right. Okay. And the point there is now you've got the agent as a client. So you've onboarded them. The person's gone through and they said, okay, now I'm signed up to Weights and Biases. You then need to perform for them, but you're not performing for the person. You're not delivering to the person over time. You're delivering to the agent. And if the agent finds that you are not satisfactory, it will suggest a different solution.
Yeah, well, and we may never, theoretically speaking, I haven't seen this in like a large scale, but we may never actually see the user using our product, right? So, and I'll just paint the sort of picture. We have MCP servers, we have APIs, we have all of the we're baked for this, right? So the user goes in, they're in Cursor, they're like, hey, I need observability. Like, I need to see what's going wrong. It's like, hey, we need, you'll use Weights and Biases. We've dumped that in your code. Fantastic. Is the agent then going to provide a click and go, okay, we ran it again. Here's a link to the trace, right? Like, it's called a trace, by the way. It's like, and here's a LLM call, and here's all the back and forth. So, and here's a link to the trace. Is it going to do that? Or is it just going to fire into the MCP, go, oh, okay, I actually can read all of this, go, oh, your mistake is here. Like, it was logged to Weights and Biases. And I've done this. I have our skills and I have our MCPs in there. And rather than going, okay, I'm going to go over and I'm going to like manually go through all these traces. Like, I do that sometimes just to get a visual on like what my systems are doing. But sometimes I'm just like, okay, I got to troubleshoot here. Got the MCP. Just like tell it, go through the last like 50 traces that have been done on like my article outline generation system. Just go through the last 50 and tell me why you think it might be degrading. Right? Just tell me why you think, like, what's going on. And it came back with like, oh, it's actually dropped. It's not passing these entities across into the next prompt. Great. But I never needed to actually drop in to Weights and Biases, right? So that's even where it's getting even further. Okay, now what's my attribution look like? Right? Like, I never did they even click through to the site. And how do we get that attribution? Which is, of course, the next problem that we are dealing with right now, right? Is how do I get attribution? So something that I'm working with our Eng team to solve that one is, Right now, you have to sign up for a product to use it. So we've got this friction for agents just baked in, right? It's like the agent can't just implement it and know that the user is going to have just full access to tracing and stuff like that, right? They have to do that. So I'm working with our Eng team and one of our machine learning engineers right now to go, okay, we're actually just going to let the agent just create an account. It's going to be a dummy account. We're just going to hold it for like 30 minutes, right? We're just going to like let them run this trace, let them run like, a number of however many they need to for their project, whatever it is. We'll burn it after 30 minutes just because we can't keep doing it forever unless the user then clicks through to sign up. So like let them get the value already, let the agent get its job done. And then when the user actually needs to engage with that content, then just go, okay, now you can click through. But your reward is there. The agent has already done its job. The agent can even pull that data and have the communication back and forth. But the agent now it's basically to increase that confidence level. The agent now knows not only does the code work, the user's intent is going to be satisfied. The user is going to have their answer already baked in, and providing them that sort of.
No, brilliant. And so kind of the blocker that we currently have may well not be a blocker in the future. Andrea Volpini talks about mandates. And if the user is saying you have the mandate to figure out the best solution and make the purchase, potentially that's a solved problem. But which means that you're solving the problem that exists, which is the friction of agents not being mature enough yet. But I'm going to come back one step to the last question, which is essentially what you're saying is educate the algorithms, train the algorithms, tell them who you are, what you do, who you serve, and why you're the best. Make sure that they know every single detail about your service, why you're the best, why they should pick you. And it comes back to what I was talking about with Danny Goodwin is educate the algorithms.
Yes. Yeah. And give them what they need. If any of the listeners just reach out on like LinkedIn, send me a quick message and I'll forward you. And something I thought, hey, maybe you and I'll get a chance to sort of cover this. We did because we've had an amazing conversation. So it's not to go, we should have, but I have a simulator that people can use that I just built for myself to make my own case. It goes, hey, here's your form without WebMCP. Here's like, let's let that Chrome agent try and figure out how to fill out this form on your site. Now, over here, if you put WebMCP, here's how many tokens, here's the latency, here's the cost to that same agent.
Do you want to put that up on screen? Because we can show it.
Sure.
Because I was really interested in it. And honestly, the conversation was going so well that I forgot completely about it. But I definitely want to see it because you told me about it before we started chatting. And the idea that today agents have limited scope to actually act on your behalf. And people are saying, oh, okay, I don't need to worry about it right now. Your demonstration earlier on of saying, well, actually, we set up a situation where we can have an agent and convince an agent and we're preparing for the future is incredibly important.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So anybody who wants to send me a ping, this is something that anybody can sign up for. It only has 3 uses because it's using my API key, but I'll email you when I open it up a little bit more because Google and OpenAI are both going to give me API keys I can use for this to give folks. So what this does basically, and it's to help people understand how you can make an agent more confident. So in this drop down here, these are just a couple examples you can go through. I'm not going to run these ones right now because they're just a little less cool as far as I'm concerned. But these are just examples from the WebMCP docs, and it's like here's how you can see using computer use versus WebMCP. How difficult is the system at booking a trip for 2 to Paris? But I'm going to go into the custom here, and we'll just use ChatGPT, and I'm going to put in this page. So just so folks know, I'm putting in this page here. It's just one of the pages on our site download form. And I've just pre-filled there. I'm just saying, fill out the form for me. Here's my email address. I'm an SEO, right? So now we're going to run the race. So this is just to compare. And Jason, you and I are going to have a chance to chat here. So first thing it's doing, we've got computer use on this side. So it's like, hey, if we're just relying on the computer, here's what we need to do. Over here, it said WebMCP isn't there. I don't have WebMCP. Most of us don't yet. In fact, I built this to make the case for why we should have WebMCP. So I'm just going to click on that one. It's going to queue it right now. So what's now happening is it's going to finish up on this side computer use, and it's going to let me know when it's done. So we can see the token counts going up there. We can see the cost going up. Once it's done over here, it's then going to grab the form on the other side. It's going to look at the form, it's called a shim, and it's going to turn that into WebMCP and then simulate what would that have looked like with WebMCP. How difficult would that have been? So, okay, we've got, of course it does that. Of course, it didn't work flawlessly yesterday. So anyway, we'll have to, there actually, it does work with the forms, no problem.
So what we end up with is on the right-hand side, computer use, if it has to emulate the MCP, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Here, you know what I'll do? We can just keep chatting here. I'm just going to run the race again, but on our contact form. Like this is using a more sophisticated. It's funny because I ran it yesterday just to test it, and it just did run fine. But what basically it's doing is on the right-hand side, it's filling out the contact form and going, okay, if we had that Chrome browser, right? Like if it's having to actually just use computer use and it's having to like just use its visual of what's going on the page, how does that go? How does that work for it when it's just trying to figure its way around a page? Because we also have to understand that, yes, it's got this form and you can sort of like see what it's doing there, right? It's bopping around. Here we are, 44,000 tokens and 6 cents. That's what it's cost so far to do all of that. It's putzing around. Over here, I've queued it up and it's going to simulate what would happen with WebMCP, right? So if we had WebMCP, because that form doesn't have it yet. So,
and well, I mean, sorry, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the right-hand side. You're immediately saying how much resources are needed because it doesn't know how to interact with the form and it's trying to figure it out, and that's costing you tokens, that's costing you money. And from a brand perspective, you're saying, well, we're putting a cost onto the user who's now going to have to pay their agent to figure all this out on its own, and it's cost you 22 cents so far.
Yeah, well, actually, my case would be, the interesting thing is, like right now for me, yes, this has cost me 25 cents. It's cost me 217,000 tokens in the real world. Because right now what I'm doing here is I'm simulating, this is the model that they are using, GPT 5.5. This is ChatGPT. So this cost isn't actually even going on me. This cost is going on OpenAI, right? Like OpenAI, we're saying, hey, OpenAI, if this user wants this to fill out this form and you want to fill out that form for that user and they don't have WebMCP installed, you're going to have to spend, what are we at, 350,000? We're not done yet. It's going to stop at 25 steps if it hasn't figured it out. Usually it figures it out inside 25 steps, but we'll see. Okay, it did. So awesome. It seems
50
to
cents.
have figured that out. That cost. So we're saying, hey, OpenAI, this is going to cost 50 cents. Now, it's right now just simulating what WebMCP would do.
Sorry,
So
I mean, I would come back on that and say that OpenAI are going to pass the cost on to the user.
Yes, in some way.
In some way.
So
by taking our data, but there's a money question. But at the end of the day, with a commercial organization like OpenAI, I'm going to pay for it as the user if that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And right now, if we look, it's done.
Oh,
so we have 131 seconds versus 9. We have 54 cents versus less than 1. We have 415,000 tokens versus 3 point, like sometimes it's less, but right now this one took 3,600. And if you want, you can go down here and go, this was the form they grabbed. They turned it into WebMCP. That's what it turned it into, just so that you can like audit that yourself if you want. And then just like a little summary. It's like, there's how much more effective it was in costing. So if I'm OpenAI trying to fight to keep my things affordable, but still serve the user, and I go, Dave's form has WebMCP installed, Dave's competitor's form doesn't. Does the user want to hang about for more than 2 minutes while it figures this thing out? And do I want to incur a cost of 54 cents? Or do I want to do this in a fraction of that time and a fraction of that cost? Right. So this is just the case for just do this. Now, I would argue, like we saw with authorship, eventually the systems will be able to figure out how to just, like I built a shim to sort of go, okay, bake WebMCP in there. Eventually the systems will figure that out, but it's going to take those of us that have been using WebMCP, like we did with authorship, to train the system. Do you want to wait for Google to catch up, or do you just want to do it? This I'm making as a case for WebMCP, but I think it extends a lot further than just WebMCP and going, make sure you're catering to them with your LLMs.txt files.
And then The key point there, of course, is that once you've got the client, it's much easier to keep them than it is to acquire them. So if you can get in there and get OpenAI, Google, all of these platforms saying, well, I prefer this particular supplier simply because they've got WebMCP and it costs me significantly less. And we've seen that it's, 100 times less?
Yeah, it's about 100 times less.
Then that's the choice. And it tends to be the choice that sticks until it proves itself to not be the correct choice.
Sure. And by the time all those other people have caught up, all of your competitors have caught up, what are the links you've acquired in that time by being first selected? What's the confidence you built? What attention have you been able to put into other things than chasing business because the agents have been giving you the business, so you're able to like divert your attention into other things? There's a lot going on. I'll also note just for users who they can reach out to you, reach out to me. I'm also about to just give out for free. I'm just going to like post a link to it. Is I've also built, actually you can sort of see it there. But you know what, I can blow this up a little bit for users. I've been working on and I've just used it on the Beanstalk site here because I'm allowed to put whatever I want on that one. You'll remember that. That's my company I still work in. But it actually is detecting retrieval agents coming in. Well, whether it's an indexing agent, whether it's a retrieval agent coming in. So a retrieval agent is when a user is in ChatGPT and they're putting in a query, the retrieval agent comes out, visits your site for like a fraction of a second just to retrieve the content from it. So this is my way of now looking, going, the impact of generative AI on search traffic. ChatGPT's retrieval agent visited that 112 times. Okay, now I know what content I should produce, right? Whereas before this has been invisible to all of us, but I built a WordPress plugin.
Yep. Okay, brilliant. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you everybody for watching. See you in the next session.